course, Matt Harvey and the Mets parting ways. They asked him to go to the minors after yesterday's performance. Maybe the stuff over the weekend was the tip of the iceberg. Maybe it was the final straw. Who knows? Then 5 runs yesterday. They asked him to go to the minor leagues. He said no, and they will designate him for assignment. So his career with the Mets is over. Casey in High Point. What's up, Casey?
Hey, Mike, welcome back.
Thank you.
And,
what's up?
Enjoy the running of the Roses tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ever recall a player, I mean, RG3, I know it's apples and oranges. RG3 comes to mind with the branding and the rise and the fame and, injury that equalizer, you're here and you're gone. Can you ever recall a player who seemingly had it all?
How about Gooden?
You're a game away.
How about Gooden?
And then it's gone.
How about Gooden? Did anyone ever have it more together than Gooden? Or does anybody have it bigger than Gooden? Gooden, now, he still had a pretty good career, but he had a much more distinguished career than Harvey. He went to the Yankees, did what he did. He had other years. But Gooden was never what we expected him to be. We thought Gooden could be an all-time great. They thought Gooden could be Bob Gibson. There's another one. I mean, you get a lot of them. You do get a lot of them. You get more than you think. And it can happen with pitchers especially. Alex and Toto, what's up, Alex?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? Good to hear your voice.
Thank you. What's happening?
So I just want to talk about Matt real quick.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan, and I actually went to an event at Citi Field a couple of months ago. John Rickey was there, and John Franco, and I asked him, I was like, does Matt Harvey really want to be here? And they told me yes. Even after he got sent to the bullpen, still supported him. And now the whole, obviously, what put it over the edge, the partying in Los Angeles, it's like the guy's career is, it's on threads. And he knows his history, and he still feels the need to go out, and he knows it's going to come up. And to be honest, I don't feel sorry for him. I just wanted to get your...
I think it's fair. I think every part of what you said, Alex, is fair. He's been his own worst enemy at times. There's been other issues where the Mets have been infuriated with his behavior. There's no secret about that. But I really think part of this, and you got to realize this, I think it's a bigger part than they're letting on. You have a young manager here. You have a new pitching coach here, and they preached accountability from spring training on. You can't have a guy implode like he's imploding and not have there be a reaction to his performance. You want to tell people, hey, we're working with you, we have your back, but we expect a level of performance here from our players. And you heard Island say to Eddie, you heard Eddie say before, hey, this is the big leagues. You put on your uniform, this is the big leagues. You man up. And I think that's a big part of this. You have to preach accountability to your players. There has to be a level of performance that is expected. At a certain level, it cannot dip behind a certain level. And Matt, if you look at what he's done recently, he won getting major league hitters out. Steve in Connecticut. What's up, Steve?
How's it going today, Mike?
Good. What's happening?
Good. Have you announced who you're taking in the Derby tomorrow? I know you're kind of a value player. You kind of just put stuff together, but have you announced on kind of a true favorite, though, for you?
No. As a matter of fact, I would say that I have not handicapped the whole race yet. I'll tell you right now, you can count on me going against Justify tomorrow without any question. I'm not saying I won't throw an exactor in with him. There's a couple of horses here off the top already that I have my eye on, and I'll give them to you quickly. Number one, I'm going to break from Brad in that I think Bolt de Oro could still be a big factor in this race. I know Brad didn't like him. I think the horse, when I first saw the horse last fall, I thought he would be the favorite in the Derby. I think his style is right. He's also broken 100 in the Bayers, which is something I think you want in your Derby horses. A lot of times, the other horses don't run fast enough to get there. Obviously, Justify has run better than everybody, but he's only had 3 races. He's compromised by the fact that he's green. He's compromised by the fact that he is going to be, I think, trip compromised. There's 2 other horses that I'm looking at right now. Well, really 3. One is Audible. The other ones are Hofberg and my boy Jack. That's what I'm fooling around with. I could see using if I find deep closes, I'm looking for deep closers to run up and finish second and third. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for value. I look for big horse. I look for horses running second at 30, 40 to 1 to make my exacta. That's what I always look for, and I look for closers in the Derby. I'm a closer player. If a horse goes wire to wire in the Derby, you got a very good chance I didn't bet him. I'm looking for closers, deep closers. I'm looking for one strong. I'm going to find the horse what I'm going to do in the way I do it. I'm going to find the horse that I think is going to be running in the final eighth. I'm going to find that horse. That's the horse I want. I'll use him in every slot, and if he comes and runs second or third, I'll have a big day. And that's the horse I look for. And I'll play him in every slot. I'll play him, with everybody first and second, and that horse is my big horse. I don't, if I can't narrow it down, I don't have to play triples. If I have a winner, then I can play triples and tries. If not, I'll just try to hit the exacta, because if I got to play a whole bunch of horses first, and I have a horse that I think a lot of times I'll play the whole field for first because I like a horse big, so I'll play him in the first slot. I'll wheel him in what we call, if you're a player, wheel and back wheel, which means everybody over the horse, him over everybody. So wheel and back wheel, the exacta, that's called. And that's what I'll do a lot with a horse that's 30, 40 to 1 that I think's a deep closer. That's how I hit the Derby in my career a bunch of times, is doing it that way. That's to me. I've hit Woodchopper that way. I've hit Dallas Stewart with a couple of bombs that way. Dallas doesn't have a horse in the race. I can tell you right now, if Dallas Stewart had a horse, I have so much respect for him and him preparing deep closes for this race. He's unbelievable. He doesn't have a horse this year. So a horse that I will be looking at as an example of that, which doesn't have a great form. I'm hearing good things about Hofberg from the Mott Barn. Also, my boy Jack, to me, has the look of a horse that's going to come late. Also, DeSormo is a tremendous value conditioner. I'll be using him for sure. Plus, I have a son named Jack that doesn't hurt either. So, and he's my boy. So that doesn't hurt either. John in Oxford, Connecticut. What's up, John?
It's so funny, Mike. You just mentioned about your boy Jack and you having a boy Jack. I was like thinking, geez, does Mike own that horse?
No, I wish I did. I wish I did.
Yeah, right. Now, I got to tell you, with Harvey, I wonder, he's a physical breakdown. I don't think his mental makeup helps him. But when you compared him to Dwight Gooden, I thought that was a little harsh to Dwight Gooden. Dwight Gooden's career.
I mean, Dwight Gooden's career. When I think of where Dwight Gooden was, his career, to me,
it never got.
It's still a crash and burn. Dwight Gooden should have been one of the all-time greats. He was one of the He was on his way. His year was one of the great years we've ever seen.
I would say he's a Met all-time great. Would you disagree?
I think there's a lot of what might have been for what Doc did. Did Doc pitch better than Harvey? Oh, yes, infinitely.
I hope so.
Without any question. No one's even arguing that.
For a longer period of time.
Oh, yes. But when I was asked about disappointing, I think of Doc long-term as being extremely disappointing, because I think you were looking at, what we thought would be one of the great careers of all time. I really believe that. We thought we expected that. Martin and Guilford, what's up, Martin?
Hey, bless. I'd like to put Mark Friedrich in that category a little bit also.
He was such a weird pitcher that one year. I didn't even know what we've seen, but you're right. His career was like a comet across the sky. Absolutely true.
And for those that haven't seen him, look online.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, I have a question, Mike, kind of about Matt Harvey and not about Matt Harvey. So pitchers are obviously, they're rolling the dice with their arms. A couple injuries and they're done, unlike any other position in sports, I think. So if you're like a guy like Severino, if you're counseling Severino, and the Yankees offer him, I'll just hope this is reasonable for the sake of the argument, like $130 million for 10 years, what do you do?
It's always a great question. I would always tell the guy to take the money. Because you know what? You don't know. You don't know, Martin, when it's going to end. I believe get that money underneath. You can always go back if you're sensational and renegotiate. But that's life-changing money. Get that first and then worry about going back for the other $80 million or $70 million. When someone offers you $130 million, take it. You know what? When you don't have anything, and then worry about it. Doc Gooden in 85 had the brilliant season. He was 24-4, 1.53. Did he have good years after that? Absolutely. He had 1, 2, 3, 4 more really good ones. Then he had some bad ones. He did win 11 games once with the Mets. With the Yankees, he did win 194 games. That's a lot. Matt's only won 34. I'm not comparing. What I'm saying, though, when he stood here in 85, we thought he was going to be one of the all-time greats. He didn't accomplish that. Did he have a great career? Yes. He had a very solid. He won 194, lost 112. He won 20 games only once, but he did win 18 and 19. He did pitch 16 years, so he did last a long time, but he didn't do what we expected, nor did Strawberry. They had good careers. Not comparing to Matt Harvey, but what I'm saying is you never know. When he stood on the mound in 85, we thought we were looking at the next great pitcher. And we were. It just didn't last very long. But he had an infinitely more dependable, infinitely, more solid career. Because when he's 20, he's still with the Mets until 29, and he goes 17-6, 15-7, 18-9. Then he has a year that's interrupted. Then he goes 19-7. After that, 13-7, 10-13, 12-15, 3-4. So his last 4 years, he only wins 38 games. But the years before that, he did have solid years. He very rarely had a losing record, but with later on, those later years, he didn't pitch a whole lot, but he did hang around. He won 157 games with the Mets and won 65% of his games. That's good. That's good. But you know what? You should have been looking at one of the all-time greats. That's what he could have been. He could have been Bob Gibson. He could have been that kind of great. Disappointing? Yes. But he had an infinitely more dependable, longer career. Harvey's career has been just an eye blink when you count the injuries. Back after this.